Now, we tell you that Nigeria's Vice President Kashim Shettima has asked Nigerians to be fair in their assessment of President Bola Tinubu's leadership. The Vice President said this at a one-day town hall meeting organized by the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council held at the banquet hall of the State House in Abuja. He said the current economic challenges in the country are not the making of the president, but a global phenomenon. Describing President Tinubu as a man of ideas robustly built with leadership capacity, Shettima believes the country has never been blessed with leadership like now and urged Nigerians to support him. And now to discuss this, I am joined by a public affairs analyst, Kabiru Sufi. Kabiru Sufi, it's nice to have you on the news.
Program.
Yes, so first, let me get your fair and honest assessment of President Bola Tinubu's administration and of course, our leadership style.
One can say that from the beginning, the president hit the ground running and showed that it is going to be a full implementation of liberal economic policies. With his pronouncement of the withdrawal of the subsidy, after inauguration. Then people, of course, had very high hope that there was going to be a change of leadership style. And especially people thought that this is a man that can assemble a great team that can be able to push Nigeria forward. This was, from the onset, the impression people had of this administration. So that pronouncement, of course, Nigerians didn't know what to expect, especially with the withdrawal of the subsidy. But then a number of other economic policies combined with the withdrawal of the fuel subsidy, brought some economic hardships on Nigerians. And that is where the complaint is, that there are the economic hardships are increasing by the day. This is where there are complaints, and of course, so it goes beyond assembling a team, and of course, it goes beyond rolling out many economic policies at the same time, which the people couldn't understand, especially with the hardships associated with those economic policies.
Okay, so you talked about the president hitting the ground running. And of course, the Vice President, Shettima, also said the president is working hard to make the country great, but economic challenges have been a pullback on his efforts. But the question Nigerians are asking right now is, the economic hardship was brought about by who and what? Because they said that they didn't have it this bad before now.
Yeah, of course, the Nigerians would have to ask these questions. When you say by who, we can rightly say that those policies partly were responsible for the increase in the economic hardship. For example, withdrawal of fuel subsidy. Definitely, it will send the transportation cost high, and especially that will now be sent back to the consumers. So definitely, when they ask by who, I think Nigerians are right asking that question. Very recently, withdrawal of subsidy on electric consumption. That also, you can see, has sent locally manufactured goods. The prices of locally manufactured goods, increasing by the day. So I think Nigerians have the right to ask by who. But the Vice President was right to have said that part of the economic hardship isn't only a Nigerian thing. When you look at what is happening, for example, in Kenya, and of course it's a global thing, one can say, but Nigerians, like you rightly said, have never had it this bad, so Nigerians have the right to ask questions. And I think it is now the responsibility of the government to always take a fair assessment of those policies and see how they can bring support to Nigerians, and how those hardships can be relieved. And how prices of goods, ordinary Nigerians care about the prices of goods, and how those, of course, can be brought down.
You've actually mentioned a few of the policies of government, Sufi, and how it has impacted Nigerians. But then if you say that the Vice President has been apt in his statement saying that Nigerians should actually appreciate what the president has done so far. What policies would you say, aside, of course, the removal of fuel subsidy, the harmonization of the foreign exchange, what policies would you say have been put in place by government that actually speaks or addresses the plights of Nigerians? Or let me just put it this way, what policies would you say Nigerians have benefited from that you feel they can smile about in the last 1 year?
Well, I think the government is beating its chest about maybe trying to make the country attractive for foreign investment. But I think that is something that will take a very long time for Nigerians to see. And it is at that same time that we see some foreign companies folding up. And it is largely maybe due to the challenges that they are facing in the economic environment. So, of course, there may be some positive steps. The harmonization of course, of the Naira exchange rate, for example, is supposed to maybe remove corruption, make foreign direct investment attractive to the country. But I mean, those things are yet to be seen fully on the ground. So, of course, maybe the policy objectives may be good, but then these are not immediate, policies that will give immediate results. So I think the government need to be reviewing these policies from time to time and see. So sometimes, no matter how good the intention is, when the policies are not really working due to our own environment. So I believe there is always time for us to make a review or a rethink about those policies.
Okay, so finally, before I let you go, what kind of policies now do you think the government should be tinkering with that can actually help in ameliorating the situation or the hardship that Nigerians are facing now? Because clearly it seems as though what is on the ground might not really be necessarily meeting the needs of Nigerians, and the economy seems not to be smiling at this time.
Well, I think two policies need to be reviewed. I don't know how the government is going to do that. I mean, the hike in the tariff of electricity, I mean, that is something that they need to check, because that is sending the prices of Nigerian manufactured goods, very high. Prices are skyrocketing very recently, and they are not associated with, of course, the increase in the dollar rates. No, this is something that has to do with the hike in the tariff of electricity. That is number one. And number two, withdrawal of the fuel subsidy itself. What have we in ground to have ameliorate the sufferings that Nigerians are facing? I mean, the transportation cost has more than quadrupled. I mean, in the last 12 months. So what is the government putting in place? I mean, there should be something that will bring down these prices. I mean, the CNG initiative is not quickly being rolled out. So the government should, and then the Dangote refinery that we are seeing that Nigerians are having hope that maybe Nigerian refined petroleum products will flood the market and will probably, because of market dynamics, bring down the prices of goods and services. We are yet to see that, because the refinery itself is explaining to Nigerians that it is having challenges accessing Nigerian crude. So I think it means that whole policy need a rethink. I mean, so if these two, for example, can be tackled, immediately, then probably we might see some support in what the experiences of Nigerians with regard to the economic hardship. And then we can take a holistic approach and then look at other policies, those implemented and those that are yet to be implemented, and see how, we can alleviate the sufferings of Nigerians.
Kabiru, Sufi, Public Affairs Analyst, thank you so much for your time on the news.
Thank you for having me.